jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
WCS on deck again. Shout out to the supporters, man. Appreciate everyone who's in the building. You already know what it is, man. Without the supporters, man, WCS won't be able to come on every day whenever I choose to, and you know, rock it out with the day ones, man. The ones that rock with the channel. You feel me? This is a Hot Grease Chronicles EP 6-3. You know what I'm saying? 2022. You know what I'm saying? Hot Grease summer as always. Listen. We're going to get to some topics. I'm not going to be on here long because it's a Hot Grease Chronicles. And you know what the Hot Grease Chronicles consist of. Pound for pound number one, Terrence Bud Crawford. The situation doesn't seem like it has any type of relief to the misery, to the anxiety, and everything else that's been going on with fight fans waiting. Listen, one thing I'm not going to do is continue to create, you know, the obvious, you know what I'm saying? Just storylines, plots, scripts, and everything else, man. I'm not going to write entire pamphlets of information to try to come up with what a fighter say and he didn't say it. I'm going to give you my opinion, but I'm not going to sit up here and go through a storyline and say, well, Terrence Crawford said this. Terrence Crawford would like this. Unless Terrence Crawford told me, you know what I'm saying? Terrence Crawford told me to go to 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee, and then he'll talk to me in a one-on-one interview. I'm not going to make up no shit like that. You know, Terrence say he did. Unless he told me that, then I'm not really going to talk on it. But I want to touch bases, you know, on the situations that's been going on that a lot of people have been speaking about. You know, obviously there's not enough support system out here for Ryan Garcia. I'm not going to talk too much. I did a brief, live on it today, and I really didn't go in detail about it. The reason being is he did it to himself, man. He did this to himself, right? You got to understand one thing. Ryan Garcia did this to himself. He capped. He lied. He ducked. He bet money against Gervonta Davis. What more are you expecting for Gervonta to do? It's just what you got. Don't expect him to do anything except say, no, it ain't. We on some disrespect. It ain't no respect. And he almost seemed like he wanted to start crying, man. And his eyes starting to sweat with tears because he didn't get the love and embracement that he did from Gervonta. Tank is on a whole nother situation when it comes to this fight game. And that just goes to show you how Ryan Garcia has been walking through here thinking he's entitled. The man thought he was entitled, man. He was just going to walk over there to Gervonta and it's going to be all smiles like it was Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of other fighters, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. He thought they was going to have a meeting like that where they're able to joke around with each other and verbal spar. No, man. You attempted to bet $20,000 against him when he fought Rolly. A fighter that's been on record calling you all sorts of names and derogatory terms, right? But you try to bet 20 stacks against him, and then you want to see him in the club and go over there and think it's gonna be respect, especially if y'all do the fight. You know what I'm saying? So y'all keep your eye on that. I'm not gonna take too much time on Ryan Garcia, man. You can tell in his eyes, man. His eyes were sweating. You know what I'm saying? His eyes were sweating, man. Where's his peoples? Where are they, man? Your man out here about to straight up ball because Gervonta might have reached up and grabbed his chain and fucked around with him. Look, I don't know if that shows any type of weakness on what he's going to need inside the ring to face somebody like Gervonta. I don't know if that shows any type of, fragmentation in his mental stability. I don't know if it shows degenerative type strength that he's going to need in the art of war to go in there and defeat Gervonta. Or we could say that it's going to motivate him. It's going to fuel him. It's going to give him that extra drive he need to go in there and beat somebody like Gervonta. We don't know. But I think the first part, I think on the first half, the first semester, what I said, I think that's what it is. It just shows that Ryan Garcia is built different. There's a couple of loose bolts here and there. You know what I'm saying? The entire drive train is not there for him. I think with Ryan, he's still thinking, he's pushing around those cars where you can put your foot through the floorboard and you can just pity patter around and laugh and joke and make videos. Get a picture of my feet. This is hilarious. This is the best car I ever had. Look at my feet just pitter. No, we're not in that damn life anymore. You walked around here like you was entitled. You want to do goofy stuff, and you messing with real hitters, man. Gervonta came from that, man. You're not gonna walk up there if he ain't fucking with you, man. He really is not gonna show you that love, man. That's just the way it is. So, man, y'all keep y'all prayers open for Ryan. What's going on? Jay Ocho on deck. Mr. Gumbo on deck. What's good, Willie? Willie Low on deck. What's good, Willie? Good to see you, brother. It's been a minute. I see y'all up there cooking as always up in Alabama there, Willie. Team Bomb Squad on deck. You know what I'm saying? Salute to y'all, man. Shaw News and Sauce Experience, a.k.a. Showtime. Shaw on deck. Salute to the chat in WCS. Salute to you, bro. Salute to you. It's the Gumbo. What's good? Good to see you back in here, Gumbo, man. J Ocho. Papa Lot, what's good with it? So, I want to get to Crawford after I get to it's a lot of talk that's going on in the lightweight division. You seen, Keyshawn Davis, I don't blame him at all for what he's doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, he want to go at Errol Spence. He felt that Errol took a jab at him, and he's spot on with that. I believe Errol took a jab at him. He did what he had to do. But when it comes down to the one that you're not hearing about, you know what I'm saying? You're not hearing about this guy. You know what I'm saying? You're not hearing too much about your high going at somebody's throat. You know why? Because when it comes to showing up to gyms, that's where they do most of everything when it comes to action. You know what I'm saying? They travel to gyms, man. You know what I'm saying? They go get the work that way. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be a time and point where he is forced to address somebody because, the more recognition he gets on TV, like everything else, like, let me make an example, right? Let me provide you these analytics, right? I mean, this analogy. If you put him and Xander Zayas in the same conversation, right? Xander Zayas actually, he does pretty much equal showboating when it comes down to it than Jahad Tucker. Real talk. If you watch his fights, people are not gonna say so. But if you watch his fight, he'll showboat. He'll do something every now and then, right? But if we're talking about YTC, we're talking about conversation boiling over about a certain particular fighter that's on here, and he really doesn't look that impressive, this, that, and the other. So if you're looking at Xander Zayas and you're looking at Jahad Tucker, they're gonna drive more so towards Jahad Tucker per se, because the way he goes in there and fight is different than Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas, a Puerto Rican sensation. I like Xander, you know what I'm saying? But people are gonna show more love and they're gonna adore him more because they feel like, oh man, he's easy to get along with. He's easy to adapt to. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. He's user friendly, right? But so is Jahad Tucker, though. But you have to separate the two. Real talk, it's always going to be separation. It's always going to be separation. Where they itemize shit. They're going to take all the list of what they don't like about Xander. They're going to take the list about what they don't like about Jahad. What's going to stand out more is who does the most with their machismo, their bravado. Who brags the most? Who showboats the most? They can both be winning, but they're going to find some way, somehow to find out, okay, what are they doing that we don't like? Who boxes the best? Who has the best technique? Who's fought the best opponent? They can be in separate weight classes. Jahad is contending in the weight class Xander used to contend in. But now, I had to mention this where people, like I had these conversations in these Facebook groups, and you got some people that say some really good things. Jahad Tucker's videos is freaking went viral, man. That's off the strength of what he was doing in the ring. It went viral, right? But then they say, I heard somebody say, why he talk to the camera? He should be focused. He's not really focused. And then you see him land the combinations he do. Pop, pop, pop. Then give him a Hallmark card. Say, hey, come on over here. Come on. Pop, pop, pop. Out, pivot, reset. I mean, I'm like, if someone execute a sequence like that flawlessly, you have to give him credit. You can't be a hater. You can't sit up here and criticize him and be petty when they in there entertaining. It comes a point in time where, yes, people was up here trying to reiterate what Timothy Bradley said. Yes, there was a point in time he came back into the next fight and then showboated it all. He constrained himself, right? Boom. Dapped him up. He come back in there again, get the win. Make it look easy. Steal his criticism. And you want to say, oh, he's not in your top 10 prospects. Shot. Subliminal. Shots fired. Shots fired, dog. So you got to ask yourself, he continues to win. He's 9-0. What's next for Jahad Tucker? Hey, they only going to continue to feed him top level opposition. His team's going to get who they get with over their top rank. Jay Prince, Showtime, Coach Tucker, which is his father, everybody else that's involved. They're going to take the next opponent, and then people are going to continue to be like, okay, let's see what he does with this fighter. And then it's going to come a release point where they say, man, this dude, the way he moves in there, his fluidity, how comfortable, how he coordinates his movement, how he put his punches together, his defensive accountability, all that shit is going to start to get consolidated. Now, people want you to say, well, when is it going to get a point where he fights somebody with a name? Listen, y'all, if you ever watch the sport of boxing, everybody builds up their resume differently. Boxing allows license to be handed down to people that never had an amateur fight in their career. So since we already know that, and you've heard me speak on it, stop acting like fighters are going to have a murderer's row from day one. But what I can tell you clearly and concisely is that if you look on Jahad's record, there's no fighters on there with a losing record. All right. That's commendable, right? Then you have to ask yourself, okay, What's next for him? Are they going to get him a top 15? Are they ready to say, hey, man, this is a hot division, 147 pounds. Who are we going to put him in there with? Because it's some hate going around here too, man. And I always have to put out the PSA. I think this only happened. No, I can't say it only happened with black media. I can't say that because there's some other shit that's going on behind the scenes. It's not black media. So I won't say that. But I would say when blacks comment their own, especially me, like I'm a small channel like some other small channels, but yet people see your work, they don't never like it. But then when they get that one moment to feel like they want to comment on a situation that they believe is bullshit, like they have access to you. These fighters have access to what you got going on, but they don't want to use you unless you come around and volunteer. So when you say, okay, let me continue to do my thing, you're doing your thing, then they want to try to use you to get to another fighter. They want to try to criticize and act like, hey, man, what you think about this? What you think about what? So-and-so. They want to try to get you caught up in some shit and ask you about a fighter like you, the trainer. No, that's not the way it works, bro. That's not the way it works. Just sit back and look at the work being done and then deal with it. Because you can't sit up here and put media into play except for what we're doing for the fighter. And if you look at what Showtime got going on with his photography and his videos, the man has ran away with the game. You look at what I got going on. I'm talking about all over. But I'm just saying how we work the jihad card, right? You got to ask yourself, how far of a distance are this media shit traveling? It's traveling quite a good distance now. It's quite a good amount of footage on Facebook and IG. So we got to ask ourselves, who's next? Who are they going to put him in there with next? Is it going to be a top 15 opponent? Because he's calling out everybody at the welterweight division for which he should. His team feel comfortable with him stepping up and taking the challenge. Now, what I would advise some people, right? Don't attempt to get in contact with me about someone that's not my fighter. I'm media. I'm a multitasker when it comes to content creation. That's what I am. But you all attempt to try to, this is the fix that they try to do, right? This is what I got to deal with. They saw me cover a plethora of fighters, put mad pictures and stills and videos. They see it all the time, right? But they zone in. They zone in on one fighter that they don't like for whatever reason. They don't like that fighter. So what they'll do is they'll try to get with the media and try to get you in the middle of it so they can shut down a certain portion of exposure that you giving that fighter. You know why they'll do that? Because they'll try to ask you a fucked up question. Hey, man, you think so-and-so beat so-and-so? Oh, hey, man, what you think about that sparring? Hey, man, you got niggas that love doing paperwork. They love recording. They love trying to set people up. So if they can get you in an awkward situation where they can get some information to basically debilitate the exposure that you was getting for that particular fighter, that's the entire process. They want to go out there and eliminate that. How they going to eliminate it? They're going to try to ask you a dumbass question. Hopefully you say something stupid so they can try to anonymously submit that on IG to a team member. Hey, Showtime, take a look at this, Showtime. Your man's over there. This is what he has to say. Now, teams have to be smart. They got voice deception and AI and all this shit. People have to be smart because it's boxing. You always have individuals out here trying to sabotage something. It's don't know how many people out here doing media shit, right? And these people know that your content is out there, and they see look. They're not gonna. I'm gonna just keep it real, right? They saw what I put out there on several fighters. But you have certain individuals that's concerned somehow the magnet they're magnetized to Jihad Tucker because they like, man, he's just overhyped. He's this. Well, guess what? Like I said, I'm not training him. For all you haters, just go get in contact with the team, man. Stop putting me in the middle of because you don't like a steal that I put out there. You don't like my content, but yet somebody somehow, some way in certain location have a problem with a fighter that I covered, and they try to then come at the media guy. Why? You know who's on the team. Take that route, man. I don't know who he's fighting next, but I guarantee you he's going to take another step up opponent, and then they're going to have something to say. But in between time, when he's getting ready for fight camp, those individuals that have an issue with it, all you have to do is get in contact with a team member, not WCS. Get in contact with a team member, okay? It's that simple, y'all. Sir Ken on deck. What's good? What's good? Salute to you, Sir Ken. WCS, salute to the wrenchers and salute to the chat. Smash the like button. Trick Noti on deck. What's good, Trick? Salute WCS in the chat at work listening. No doubt. Appreciate you. Pop. Tucker's a star in the making. Yes, sir, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look. He keeps on performing. We have to understand how we brand and how we label these people. You know what I'm saying? We gotta understand that when is it a time when we release the prospect tag? You know what I'm saying? When do we release the prospect tag off fighters? You know what I'm saying? Because Teofimo Lopez won a championship in 15 fights. Were they calling him a prospect up to when he fought? Because he didn't fight Masayoshi Nakatani in 15 fights. You feel me? He had only 14 fights when he fought a title eliminator on Masayoshi Nakatani. So when do we take the tag off? Jihad Tucker's 9-0. When do we take the prospect tag? When do we look at certain other fighters that's considered to be a star? That's 11-0. He's a star already. A star doesn't have to be at a certain level. They just we have to give them the PV. The performance value. The performance value is what makes them a star. Now, that star, when you grade it, you know how you always say 5 stars? Okay, do you give them 1 star, 2 star, 3? Everything is on a numeric grading scale, right? What's wrong with doing that in boxing? You don't say out of 5, he's a 2 star. No, you can just say, okay, right now we see that person as a star. A rising star. A star can rise in elevation, bro. It's not that difficult. A star can always rise in elevation when we're talking about opinionated, evaluations that we're looking at a fighter and their performance value. It don't have to be, oh man, we need to see it's his 10 pay-per-view. Let's see what his numbers like on his 10 pay-per-view. No, it's not that, bro. He said, hated it. You know what I'm saying? Pop said, Tucker top 5 is not top 3 prospect moving in contender. Listen, man. When are we gonna have a demarcation line when it comes to our evaluation process of these fighters that have fought on TV since day one? That goes for the shoes, that goes to the Keishans. Man, that goes for the Shakur Stevenson. I mean, that goes for a lot of fighters that's in the limelight. They're in the limelight. You know how tough it is to fight under the bright lights, and you don't have 10 professional fights. We have to mediate just a little bit better when we're voicing our opinion about prospects. You know what I'm saying? Prospects. What is a prospect? You know what I'm saying? That when you have 9, 10 professional fights, are you truly a prospect when other champions have picked up belts long before then? Did you pretty much say Lomachenko was a prospect when he came in there and he was 1-0? Did you call him a prospect, or did you call him, hey, that's a star right there because he has 2 Olympic gold medals? You see what I'm saying? Y'all need to understand how you place that label. Y'all need to evaluate that shit, man. Juice Lee on deck. Shanu say they know Jahad Tucker is special, and you are locked in with Team Tucker. Man, I think all the steals, man. And give it up for Showtime, man. He took the game and ran with it. That's all I gotta say, bro. He took the game and ran with it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't run to no 7-Eleven though. Real talk. He didn't run in there and goddamn and spill a motherfucking strawberry and cherry slushy all over his camera. And say, oh man, goddamn, I thought I was gonna get some footage. I just want to hydrate. No, we don't do 7-Elevens, man. We're up in the rafters, man, credentialed. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting that out there. D-Lo, what's good? I think us fans are blessed with a new class of fighters. All the new guys in my eyes could possibly go on to be champs. I just like them all right now. I don't know. Okay, I understand you saying you like them all. I didn't say I didn't like them all. I didn't. But what I was just speaking on is when it comes down to certain fighters, you have to look at this now. If you're that young stepping on the stage under the bright lights, right? Jahad turned professional in 2020. If you're on stage doing a debut under the bright lights with a LeBron jersey on, I'm just giving him for an example because I don't want to upset nobody. All this young lion testosterone is all over the YTC right now. And I'm happy for him, bro. I'm happy Keyshawn is lighting their ass up. I'm happy for real. I'm happy freaking Shakur Stevenson goddamn calling out Devin Haney. I like because 135 is lit. But let's call it for what it is now. When you are debuting and you come on there and you're throwing all these punches, pop, 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 it's like popcorn in a microwave. Pop, 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 pop. Then they give you the criticism. Okay, they stick you in there with another grown-ass man. He tried to sneak you. Pop, slip underneath that. And then reset. Okay, let's go. That didn't go down the way they wanted it. And then it just keeps on building. You have to look at it like if a certain fighter's been fighting on television, doesn't that pretty much give them a higher appraisal as a boxer than it would somebody that you don't see in front of the cameras like that? Real talk. Like it's not that easy to go in here and box under the bright lights, man. Like we can't talk about Crawford and Spence. They're already been through the gauntlet. They've been through the gauntlet, man. We're not talking about them. They already know what that light is like. They know how the heat feels. They know the temperature, the buzz of the crowd. They know all of that. But for a fighter that's on the come up, that stepped through the ropes on his first professional fight, he's only 19 years old, right? When do you release the prospect shit? When do you say, so-and-so, hey, he's a rising star in boxing? You're never going to have the murderer's row to feed these guys because the promotions, they have to make sure that they want to spend this money on this. They want to spend their money on that. Listen, I have to use T.O. as a reference over and over again, man. They gave him a title eliminator at 14 fights in. He fought Richard Comey and won the IBF at 15 pro fights. So at 14 pro fights, nobody was calling T.O. a prospect. Look at when he fought Diego Magdalena. They wasn't calling him a prospect like that. They was calling him the next big star. So why can't we do the same, man, when we see somebody rising? Why can't we say, hey, Jahad's the next big star? We just got to continue to group him with everybody else. Y'all ain't saying that about Xander Zayas. You know, they look at Zayas, they say, oh, you know, they forget how young Xander is, right? You know, how he was the youngest to sign, right? They forget about that shit. Why? Because he's on TV and he's performing the way he is. But if he's giving you what you want and he's still giving you victories, guess what? Man, you gotta show that man some love, man. The bright lights, we brought it in Broadway, Jahad Tucker, for real. You know? But I just wanted to put that out there. Y'all need to understand, man. More interviews. You know what I'm saying? Get with Showtime, get more interviews with Jahad Tucker, put his name out there. He's been on the radar for a long time, man. Just because he's been professional since 2020, a little over 2 years, don't mean shit. Y'all hyping up other fighters that has Olympic experience, and I know how the game is. Okay, I got it. But it doesn't disallow you or prevent you from supporting somebody that doesn't have that type of pedigree and a heavy freaking amateur. We're talking about the pros right now. Everybody has a difference in how they build up the pros. It's plenty of fighters that's started early, build up their record the way they chose to, and then now they are where they are. Jaron Ennis, for instance, he is where he is with 28. He got like 28 pro fights or something like that, right? He might be at 28, 29. I don't know exactly, but peep this out though. Not until he stepped in there with Sergey Lipinets, he ain't fought nobody. We can't say Thomas Delorme because he was coming off a couple of L's. And we can't say Custio Clayton because Custio came in there with the check hanging out his trunks. Time he got hit, he went down. So every fighter is built up the same way. You can't just continue to say, "Oh no, he hating." I'm not hating. I'm keeping the shit down the middle, man. These fighters that's building up their record, they're gonna get different type of shine. Jaron Ennis is gonna get different type of shine from Jahad Tucker. Why? Because obviously he has more experience, and he's connected differently, and he's been on the scene before Jahad Tucker's been on the scene. You know what I'm saying? And right now they're waiting on him to get his shot. He's close. He's right at the door getting his shot. And he's a big freaking deal. But don't deny a fighter like Jahad Tucker to say, well, I can't really give him his blessing on being another rising star until I see his next fight. So he goes in there, he does what he needs to do. Dance hall one-on-one. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 10-0. Now what? Now what? I'm just saying. See, I think why some of them are mad because look, some of these cats, right? They had access to you when you was just on the ground floor. They didn't need it. They just felt that okay, just like a little feral, little street mutt that is come walking around every now and then, and they give it. Oh, look at Gizmo. I didn't think he was still alive. Gizmo's still here. Hey, come here, Gizmo. And people like, what was that? Oh, it's just a dog that roam around. When you roaming around in these streets, right? And you so hungry and you're out here trying to get on board, like I'm talking about with fighters to support them and show love, genuine. They try to say you dick riding. I've only gotten that from my own people. They say you clout chasing, and they're like, what clout are you chasing? Like I'm really showing you genuine support. No, it ain't good enough, man. He just trying to ride the wave. We have a bad habit of saying that to one another when no one has lifted off yet. You haven't left the lunch pad yet, and you say, "Oh, he clout chasing, he dick riding." So now, motherfucker like myself continue to travel, do what I got to do. They can't say that about Jahad Tucker because shit, I covered him from the early times, so they can't do anything except want to sit up here and hate on shit that has nothing to do with me. They see myself and Showtime freaking steals out there. They hear Showtime out here talking shit. They hear his pops talking shit. They hear Jahai sitting up here talking about how he's ready for anybody and everybody at 147. They don't like that. Hey, he should stay in his place. He doesn't have power. Well, guess what? Once again, get with his peeps, get with his mans and them. And if you feel like you need that freaking aspirin, if you need that aspirin to relieve the pain, right? Call him up so you won't be, full of anxiety. Just call him up and ask for a sparring. And look, I'm firsthand, once again, shout out to Showtime for setting this up. I've been there where when he sparred Brian Norman, I asked his pops, do y'all mind if I record? No. I asked Brian Norman Sr., do you mind? No. Both of them didn't fucking mind. I could have recorded the whole sparring session. But in a professional setting, you look at that shit like, why? Why am I going to record the whole sparring session? Like, I could have recorded it, but I'm like, I just recorded like the last 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't there to put the footage out like that. And then people be hitting, who you think won the sparring? It was sparring. It was a very intense sparring. Not just one sparring, but 2. When you have sparringness out there, people want to take that time to continue to ask you about sparring, especially if you cover a fighter and they see you out there having fun, doing fight week and cover a certain fighter. They always want to go back to the same thing. Hey, man, I saw you put that footage out there of him and Brian Norman, man. What's your take on that? Hold on for a second. And then you hear all this. Okay, you good. The audio's good. No, bro, it's etiquette. It's etiquette. All I'm saying, man, just keep your eye out. It ain't that difficult. Stop hating, man. Stop NYT on deck. What's good, man? Stop going at the media to reach out and say, ask these questions, these leading questions, that you're trying to basically put somebody in a predicament to say something stupid. You know what I'm saying? Or to say something. You ask the awkward question, and then they give you the answer, and then you want to add some more layers on it. Let me put a little bit more on this. Let me put a little bit more mustard on that. So what you saying exactly? You this and this. No, man, I'm not getting into that shit. Call this team up. Don't call me up. Don't shoot me no DMs. I've been around here long enough. I did my own my leg work. Man, I had a low crawl and shit. Hey, this is no different, man. The work is being put in with the team. And look, when it comes down to it, if y'all boxers have an issue with him, you have to address that fighter. But I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not gonna be as easy as you think. That's all I'm saying. You can think he pity patting all you want. But do you remember what they always say? It's levels. And though I am not in the training aspect, I can tell you what I've witnessed already. What I've seen him do in a fight through the lens, and everything else. It's not going to be as easy as you think. They ain't going to jump on the bandwagon to ESPN on one of these major sporting outlets. Get on them. Hey, man. Listen, he's fighting on Top Rank. What do we talk like? He's fighting on Top Rank. Who is Top Rank linked up to? He's fighting in front of the big, the cameras. Now, of course, it's a difference between fighting on the main card and stuff like that. But just goes to show you, you're gonna shine regardless. If you that diamond, you're gonna shine regardless. That's why the video of his combination sequence, man, is went viral out there. Real talk. Like, I'm just telling you, man. It's almost like you got to be careful what you're saying, not to piss off other fighters. But fighters shouldn't be worried about being as sensitive when you're not criticizing them. When you're bigging up another fighter, but you're not saying that negative about them, but they still get upset. It shouldn't be that way. The big homie Spence said, I see you, Tucker, 8 rounds. You know the vibes we coming, y'all got yeah, for real. He did say that. He did say that, bro. He did say that. Real talk, he did. You want Showtime cover them when they coming up the ranks when nobody really know them. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, bro. All these guys want to sit up here and cover these well-known fighters, man. That's disrespectful. Why? You just want to put the process in. You look at your age and you say, well, you know, how old is him? He 13? Okay, shit. 13. I ain't gonna cover him hard. I ain't gonna really put no time into him for another 2 years, man. And before you know it, that 13-year-old turned to a 15, and then he decides to, turn freaking professional. You know what I'm saying? Around, early teens, like 17. Now he's on board. They talking about big, but you knew him when he was 13 years old, but you didn't feel like that was the time you should put him on the clock. It's tough, man. It's tough because I'm looking at it like if the media is out here covering these fighters when they haven't even left the lunch pad yet. But yeah, you don't have to be on the team as media. You just cover them. Well, it should be a level of respect there when you was being covered in these dang clubs, regional settings, all this shit. You knew the media was there covering you, taking pictures, doing interviews and shit, and covering you. That shouldn't go away because you cover a certain fighter that's on a higher level than where you at right now. That's called being selfish right there. That's selfish as hell, bro. You know how much work it goes into shooting a whole entire fight card, coming home, editing pics, editing videos, posting content? That shit ain't easy. So what is easy is the people who sit back and they want to take jabs at a fighter, but they're not even giving credit. They won't even like none of your content because they straight up haters, man. They straight up haters. I got the footage I never dropped. If we drop, and we don't do that because we want the fans to support the real fight. For sure, man. Talk to him, man. He didn't even drop the footage, man. He didn't even drop the sparring footage. You know what I'm saying? We exchanged freaking media shit. He didn't even drop the footage, man. It's called professionalism. It's called direction. Where are you trying to go with this? What's your direction? What is your mission? You know what I'm saying? What is your end state? Are you just trying to, be a person that everybody talks about, a fighter that everybody brags about? Or are you trying to accumulate enough interest from the fight fans so they can start talking and say, hey, we want to see him again. We want to see him again. And then, Top Rank get to a point like, hey, we're going to put you on the main card. We're going to put you the co-headliner. That's cool. We're going to put you in there with this person. All right. All right. You good with that? Yeah, we good. Ken say with these prelim cards being on YouTube, give these new guys a bigger audience today, which gives a chance to get to see these guys. I totally agree with that. And that's what I'm saying. In a sense, with the content creators, they choose to pick sides with certain fighters that they may not even like. They're not even thinking for themselves, a lot of these cats. They just, like me, I don't care who like what fighter don't like. If the fighter to me that I'm interested in, I'm gonna cover him because I can. I'm free to do so. It's just like the Constitution. Why would the Constitution give us the right for freedom of speech, press, and all that, right? But yet when it comes to boxing, you have people trying to put restrictions on who you can cover just based off favoritism, the barometer of favoritism. Oh, don't cover that, man. We don't do that over here. We all stick together and we cover one name. You know what I'm saying? You either with us or against us. Which one are you going to? No, you have the right. You just have to have enough courage to stand up for that shit. Because we see the content is out there. You call yourself hardcore boxing fans, but just because you don't like a person, you won't even sit up here and cover boxing content. I know the Steels was out there on IG. I know they hot. I know they hot. We got content creators out there shooting a whole damn card damn near and putting boxing pictures out there of top ranked promotion fighters. And these so-called screenwriters, they would not even give you one freaking credit when they don't know how difficult it is to show up to a fight with your equipment, get the interview, post the interview, or even get approved for credentials. Let's start there. Then go in there and shoot a fight with a camera, return back to the headquarters. If you got to touch them up a little bit, do so, because I touch up my pictures for the fighters. And I appreciate the fighters that like the pictures. I do. Jihad Tuckers. I appreciate them just taking the effort. Boom, like. Shoot Carrington. Like my picture. I even told him, I said, appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? Black fighters showing love to black media. I appreciate you, man. It doesn't take a lot. Jameer Herring, right? Even Jameer Herring liked the pick, man. That's my Marine Corps comrade. He liked the pick, and his fighter, Misael Lopez, who won his fight. He asked me for some pictures that he wanted to. He said, can I get the originals of these pictures right here? I didn't say, no, pay me. I gave him the pictures because I did it for him. You know, I'm not that anal. I just gave the young lion a picture, 3 pictures or whatever. I'm not sitting up here, hey man, you know, I need to get some compensation for that. No, I give him the pictures, man. It's all good. But all I'm saying is, when you got fighters out there like Robeisy Ramirez, him too. Just fighters that like the picture, that show love, instead of, you know, talking about somebody clout chasing. Somebody actually took the opportunity to fly out there, cover the fight with credentials. And then the fighters look at the pictures. They know they some hot pictures. It's more exposure they're going to get with the steals. And they act like they can't even hit the like. It don't matter to me. I just give a highlight and appreciation to the ones who did the shit. You know what I'm saying? Salute to y'all. That's how weak media marketing agent roll. That's how weak media marketing agent roll. I walked a young lady into the credential spot to get her wristband. We lead the way, WCS. No doubt, man. That's a hell of a freaking fight week. You know what I'm saying? That was a hell of a fight week. But yeah, man, you see Jihad Tucker up there, man. You know, pay attention to him. Look at his last fight. Critique him however you see fit. I put enough steals on there. I did the offensive and I put the defensive up there. All right. I put the offensive and defensive steals out there for y'all. Judge for yourself. The man is like a black Casper. I'm just saying, judge for it's getting close to Halloween now. You might see some scary shit out there now. I'm just saying, the man is peeking behind his opponent back. He got them in front. I don't know what I'm looking at. I was like, God damn, is he teleporting up in that motherfucker? I mean, shit. He told the guy, come on in the corner. Before you know it, the guy was getting stung by some wasps. Ding, 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 ding. You know what I'm saying? And the guy said, oh shit, he hit me. He tried to goddamn return with a counter left hand. He slipped up under that. I mean, come on, bro. It don't matter who's supporting them heavy. Just show love to the fighters. That's what it's supposed to be about. Not this clicking up type shit, dog. But shout out to Team Tucker, man. You already know. Y'all be sure to check him out. You know what I'm saying? Be sure to check him out, bro. He's a big deal. He's a big deal, man. So let's talk about something, right? Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. has not been announced as we know it. Now, looking at the camera, right? I mean, the calendar. We have a single day remaining in the month of September. A single day. All right. Within the past 3 months, fake news has been dispensed on the YTC of 2 dates where this fight was supposed to be announced. That word never materialized. It never echoed through the YTC. It never became official. Fake news. July 4th, September 4th. Fake news. Fake news. Now, at this point in time, it's been so much fake news that's been basically saturating the YTC to the point where people are just throwing their hands up and say, "You can't blame me, WCS. I'm just going off what I hear out here with Crawford and Spence. You can't blame me." Listen, this is what it's about, right? It's not the blame right now as we're talking about current. We're talking about everything that led up, all the from the starting point up to now. We're talking about all the damage that occurred all the way up to now, with all the lies, with all the back and forth, deleterious type comments, maliciousness, animosity. This is 2 elite fighters on the pound for pound list. And YTC has absolutely is just sliced it and diced it, poured vinegar on it, pickle juice, pig feet, you know what I'm saying, pissed on it, to the point where we at right now. We've heard everything out here. Then people start to come up with false ass dates. Then they wait for somebody to say, "Hey, we're looking like it's going to be October." No, it wasn't looking like nothing. I even been on record say it wasn't going to be announced and it's not going to be in October. Boom, that came and went. But people made good money off of it because they drove home the freaking false ass narrative. It's like riding around on a donut, man. You'll get somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You'll get a pretty good distance, but you just can't ride on it for a long time. You have to put the original equipment, the OEM, back on there. You have to get a new tire. But what we're seeing on the YTC, they're plugging these motherfuckers. They're not replacing the whole tire. They just plugging them. So it's holes in there. It's slow leaks. This is what they got fucking going on. Crawford Spence, man. They done poked so many holes in this topic that it's riding around this bitch with slow leaks. That's real, man. Slow motherfucking leaks on this topic. We hear people that go over the same shit all the time, right? And then it's just amazed me how they can hop on somebody else's channel and then they'll say, "Oh man, you know, they have their certain, aliases for the Crawford supporters and the Spence supporters, right?" And then they'll go up there and start saying the same thing about who holding up the fight. Crawford's not signed the Top Rank anymore. So all of a sudden, Timothy Smith is just ignored, like he told y'all what it was initially in the beginning of the year. Now we get to the point where PBC still haven't made the fight. Crawford's been on record as saying he signed everything. They wanted him. He took less money, took a lower percentage and all that shit. It's not good enough for these motherfuckers. It's not good enough, y'all. They're not satisfied. They see the they read about the 35%. That's not enough. That's not enough. It's almost like they want that man to go in there getting 10%. Oh, yeah, my nigga. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Whenever we talk about percentage, we talk about 10%. You understand me? That's what I'm talking about. Everything and anything we ever dreamed about in this business of boxing, it's going to be 10%. My nigga. My nigga, that's what I'm talking about. Whenever we mention Crawford's name on this YTC and we Errol Spence aholics, we're gonna talk about 10%. Yeah. Now we getting somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Now we getting somewhere. You'll put a 10% on the end of it or the front of it. I just want to hear a low ball percentage. These men up here saying that Crawford signed a damn slave contract. He's locked in. So really, if you're talking about you wanted him to take less money, but now you're saying since he signed a slave contract. So what the fuck is it? I'm saying, what the fuck is it? I'm just curious, what is it? Like, is it a slave contract, or did he do the same thing other fighters have did and say, you know what, I'll just take this percentage right here so I can go in there and get the belts? Because that's the way I look at it. I look at it as him not conforming to anything, but just showing his fans that he's willing to go in there, sign, because he's confident in him being the victorious when it's all said and done for the undisputed titles. So then he has the leverage to renegotiate if that is indeed the case, because I don't get into the particulars with the paperwork and everything, but he has a lot more leverage to negotiate once he becomes the two-time world undisputed. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to work out for him regardless. Now, when you ask WCS about Crawford, he doesn't need Spence at all, just like he said earlier. I'm glad Crawford put that shit out there, that he doesn't need Spence for his career. That was even proven when he was at the Hall of Fame ceremony, when 3 classes were inducted. 3! And he was on deck. People was hot. What the fuck? Who approved that? And why is he dipping his hand in there? He's still active. He's not even qualified. God damn it, who did it? You know, they was hot, bro. These motherfuckers was hot when Crawford was at the Hall of Fame induction. He doesn't need Spence to solidify. It just sounds good for them to keep talking about it. You know, somebody told me, man, I would say their name, but you know, somebody told me that it's looking like Spence is gonna freaking be fighting somebody else in the first half, potentially, quote, maybe fighting another name early November. That's what I heard. All right, that's what I heard. What's going on, Easy Word Boxing? What's good with it? Salute, big homie, just came on. Can I come on with you? Hey, to be honest, that easy. I'm not staying on that long, my brother. I'm not staying on that long tonight because it's already 12. I got some shit to do. Real talk. Next time for sure. It's tomorrow's Friday, bro. If you want to pull up tomorrow and chop it up, man, we can do that, man. But if I drop that link, man, I'm gonna be on here at 2:00 and shit. The sun gonna be coming out that motherfucker. Expert Genius on deck. What's good? What's good, WCS? And everyone in the chat. Number 10 reporting for duty. Hey, man, talk to him, dog. That's what I'm talking about. Number 10 on deck, dog. Shit. Number 10 on deck, man. Let me see 10. Let me see 10 times 3. Let me see whether 3 times 0. I think that's 3 or 0. But anyway, I know I carried the 1. Let me see 3. 10 times 3. That's 42 right there. That's 42. Shit, 10 times 3 carry the 1. Let's see. That's 40. That's 42 right there. Shit, on point. Good. Let's be real. They're not confident over there in Spence world. They're not confident to put them belts on the line because they know it's gonna be disaster, boy. It's gonna be an ass whooping. It's gonna be a collection plate going around, and it's gonna be take them belts and hand them over to Omaha so they can go ahead and take it, take it home to whenever they choose to get back in there. I feel that Errol Spence takes this defeat from Crawford, yeah, people might want to see a rematch. You know what I'm saying? Because when people look at these two individuals, real talk, no one can pretty much fathom a fight being lopsided, one dimensional, like Devin Haney and Kambosos. They don't see this part of the PV playing out between Crawford and Spence. All right, the performance value. They don't see the PV playing out like one of these guys gonna have a lopsided. They can go ahead and talk all they want about Spence. He's gonna throw all these punches and all this other shit. Bro, it's not gonna work on Crawford like that at all. Okay, so you can eliminate that out your brain housing group. Put that shit to bed. And then there's a lot of people that don't believe Crawford is gonna go in there and have a one-sided victory against Spence. They see these fighters as being equally yoked, so to speak, when it comes to the PV. But if you ask me, right, people always say Crawford started slow. He's going to take too much time. Listen to me. If the man has not seen a scorecard in the division, and based off what we've witnessed him do, and people sitting up here, Crawford, he don't use all his skill set. He don't do this. If the man has indeed not exhausted his entire repertoire when it comes down to his boxing weaponry in his cachet, I will be on record as saying it's going to be a problem for Errol Spence to try to figure out shit that he never seen. We've seen everything we can see from Errol Spence. Everybody you talk to when it comes to Spence, what they say, he's going to the body. He's going to throw a lot of punches. He's going to throw a lot of punches. We even heard one guy say, Errol Spence pressure won't bust Bud Crawford's pipes. Pause. And we've heard that. He's a flat-footed fighter. We've heard that. That's on record. And look, we are agreeing with you. Spence is a flat-footed fighter. He's not going to be on the balls of his feet. That's not what he does. And then as far as him throwing punches, he did it against a lightweight. Man. Come on, man. What Bernie always say? Oh, man, we're going to do this. We're going to do him something dirty. Man, we're going to touch him up, man. We're going to get him up out of there. That's what we're going to do. We're going to stop that boy. If they saying that Crawford has not displayed all his boxing skills, how is Team Spence supposed to look at footage on something that they have never seen? They can only go off what they have witnessed and what's on record. You know what I'm saying? If he fights orthodox for no damn reason, if he fights that for no damn reason, then they might have that mindset to say, okay, we're going to train for him fighting orthodox more than 2, 3, 4 rounds, just like he did Amir Khan. All right. Then they say, oh, well, he can fight southpaw. Well, if he fights southpaw, that's right up our alley. We good, this and that. But when it comes to the dynamic of Terrence Crawford, we understand he has much more versatility and a higher ring IQ than Errol Spence does. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting it out there. That's just my opinion. Opinions are not based off facts, okay? That's my opinion. It's close to it. But all I'm saying is he doesn't need Errol Spence to solidify his legacy. If this fight doesn't happen, when it goes down in the books, guess what? They can't blame him being with Top Rank. The only people they can blame is the ones that basically put it out there earlier this year and that's continued to stall the fight. If this fight happens with Spence and in November and it's a different name standing across the ring, I'm very likely to come on YouTube and start name dropping again. I want to know what y'all want to say. You can click the link. I want to hear what you have to say about this particular fight being made, and Crawford is not across the ring from Spence. It's somebody else. Who did what? You're gonna say, oh well, let's go to the private chat and let's come up with a good defense. Well, our retort to that is that Crawford ducked. The reason why the fight's not happening is that Crawford he didn't sign everything. He was just lying. He just lied to the people. He never signed anything. They never really signed anything. They just agreed upon it. And when it came time for Crawford to sign, he didn't want to sign. That's what they're going to come up with. Real talk. Watch. Listen. They're going to get together and push the same narrative just like the ducks they are. You know what I'm saying? They're going to swim around that little muddy ass pond like they always do and cracking. You know what I'm saying? Quacking, quack, quack. That's all. They're going to come up with a motherfucking bogus ass narrative that say, hey, man, when it comes down to it, Crawford didn't want to fight. No. When it comes down to it, guess what? He don't need Errol Spence. I was just hoping that, no, it would be good for him to move at 154 and fight somebody with a good name, not Danny Garcia. No. Listen to me when I say this. I wouldn't want Terrence Crawford to go up there and stop Danny Garcia. Real talk. I don't want people to have to come back on this motherfucker and say, God damn. Let's go to the damn private chat once again. Okay, so Errol went to dishes with Danny. He fucked him up. But Terrence Crawford stopped him. Damn. He's the first person to do it. He's the first person to stop Sean Porter. He's the first person to stop Danny Garcia. What is going to be our retort? How do we rebut this? I'll tell you why. Disloyal to the boxing game. Over here. Yes. This is what you say, because I know everything about Errol. All right. This is what you say to that. All right. You tell them that Danny Garcia was never the same after Errol Spence beat him. Just like we said for Kell Brook, and just like we said for Sean Porter. He was never the same. That's what we're going to stick with. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Okay. Hey, I want to see you out there pushing those thumbnails and pushing those narratives, okay? That's what they're going to do on the private chat, man. It's always going to be a meeting where they're going to get together and talk some shit about how they can rebut this and make it look good. And you can hear all these sheep talking the same shit all the time. But it would be good for him to move up. Go step on Danny Garcia. I like Danny Garcia too. But in this particular scenario, you know what I'm saying? Him coming off the momentum with Jose Benavidez, it'd be a good fight for Crawford. Why? Because it's a common opponent, okay? It's a common opponent, man. Let's do it. You know, I remember when they used to talk about, oh, he ain't fought nobody. And then he steps on Brook. Ah, man, Brook was washed up from Spence. He ain't did shit since he fought Spence. Well, he had 3 fights at 154. Oh, that don't mean anything, man. Get out of here with that. Hey, give me another 2 shots of whiskey. What the fuck is this guy talking about? What are you talking about? Nobody knows those guys at 154. Okay, what about Sean Porter? Oh, man, did you see? Come on, Spence dropped him in the 10th round. You didn't see that knockdown in the 10th? Come on. Don't get me started. Come on, it was a 10th round. Fuck what WCS said. It wasn't the 11th. It was the 10th. I misspoke. So what? I'm just saying. I made a mistake. So what? It was the 10th. So Crawford stops him. He goes up there and stops Danny Garcia. What is that? Errol Spence. He's never was the same after the Spence fight. And then they'll start screenshotting the way his face looked. Look at this. Do a juxtapose, right? Do a juxtapose. You put the picture of Danny Garcia when Errol Spence fought him, and then you put the screenshot when Crawford fought him. And they'll be up here talking about this shit in the debate. Which one look worse? And people like, oh, definitely when Errol Spence did it. But when he fought Crawford, it only went 5 rounds. For real? Yeah, it only went 5 rounds. So let's get on the calculator, okay? Let's subtract 5 from 12. All right? Let's be fair. 5 rounds from 12. So there is absolutely a numeric gap going on here where we have a person that earned another knockout. You know what I'm saying? And then you have another person just go the distance. So we can't look at the facial aesthetics of the damage without understanding that the closer, the fight did not go the distance. So that definitely outweighs and heavy the scales a lot more than going the distance in a fight. Can we agree on that? Yeah, you're right. Man, I just wish this dude would stop knocking people out and go the distance, because that don't mean he's the better fighter, though. That just means Errol wanted to put in some rounds. That's all. He's still recovering from the car wreck, man. He just want to put in some rounds and get his coordination back. So how many fights does it take for him to get his coordination back, man? How many rounds? Because he ain't knocking no motherfuckers clean the fuck out. Man, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is, man. And he didn't get the lightweight out of there. He didn't get the lightweight out of there, man. And that's a concern where I say, you know what, Crawford don't need Spence, because if Crawford was to say, oh, let me fight one of them lightweights, one of them hot lightweights, let me fight Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Keyshawn. Then they say, no, that don't count. That don't count. Let me fight Javante. No. Al Hammond ain't gonna let you do that. Oh, we know that, because we can't get him to let Crawford fight Spence. But they wouldn't allow Crawford to go out there and fight, because they're gonna start comparing Mikey Garcia's resume now. Like I said, Mikey Garcia was a 4-weight champion. How do you think these current active lightweights qualify to move up to 147 like Mikey? Mikey was already a world champion at 140. He went in there and defeated Sergey Lipinets. He was qualified to move up. He only moved up one division. No. His last fight was at 135. Let's be clear. All right? Let's not cut corners. Let's be clear. He could not get a lightweight in Mikey Garcia up out of there. So now if I get on here and suggest, hey, why don't Terrence Crawford, who doesn't need Spence, just make some crazy choices too and say, hey, all them lightweights is out here talking. Come on up, man. I'll fight you. I need a fight because Spence don't want to fight me. Why don't y'all come up? I wonder what the damn conversation to be then. Oh, he want to fight a 135-pounder. He had trouble with Gamboa. Gamboa hurt him. Now he want a 35-pounder to come up here and hurt him. Oh, that's going to be embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Because they still talking about Gamboa now. And what weight did Gamboa fight him at? They keep bringing up Gamboa, shawty. 126-pounder hurt Crawford. But they refuse to tell you how many times Crawford dropped Gamboa. They refuse to mention this shit. You know why? Because that's what cowards do. Cowards refuse to tell you the entire story, even though that story may benefit the other person that they're unfavorable. They don't want to do it. They don't have the integrity, bro. Cooking with Sir Senior. What's good? Spence broke Brooks' orbital bone in the 6th, but still took him 5 more rounds to get him out of there. Facts that someone say, hey man, all that Kell Brook, like once again, they're building up all this freaking aluminum body armor, right? Not even heat resistance. That shit melt away real quick. They want to build up all this dang aluminum body armor when it comes to Kell Brook. They refuse to say within a 9-month span he was out, he was recovering, he had to get cleared for surgery or whatever he got done, then heal up from that, and then be cleared to get back in the ring and do full sparring. Just like Errol Spence. When Errol Spence eyeball came out, he had to wait to get cleared to do full sparring. So I don't know how many lives was going on. Oh man, he's gonna get cleared to get then he finally get cleared to do full contact sparring. But the whole fact is, right? Kell Brook was coming off a loss, but yet they highlight Kell Brook as one of his biggest fights because he went in Kell Brook's backyard. That's all. They just want to keep on highlighting that shit. But they won't talk about Terrence Crawford defending his belts against Jokic Gamboa, defending his belt in Omaha, taking the fight to Omaha. Gamboa was a killer, bro. They don't talk about him bringing the fight to Omaha, man. They don't want to talk about that, man. Man, that fight was like 8 years ago, man. And then not only that, when they mention the fight, they say, oh, he got hurt by a 126-pound Gamboa. When Gamboa had already earned a little interim title, and Gamboa had already fought at the weight. You know, like, it wasn't like he was coming up from 26 to 35. That's the crazy part about it. They don't give Gamboa. I mean, they give Gamboa all the credit for hurting Crawford, but they don't give Crawford zero credit for the multiple knockdowns that occurred in that fight, man. But I gotta bounce out of here, man. Y'all continue to hold this shit down, man. Appreciate your support. We'll definitely be back on tomorrow. But you know, let's make it clear. You know, you heard it before. I'm not coming up with 100 storylines for super chats. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not coming up with this information that, hey, in Omaha, Nebraska, a SOS signal was spotted. And they say it came from Crawford too. And it read, deal done. No, that's not the case. We didn't see shit from Omaha, bro. I just want to hear the news say, hey, this is my next opponent. It ain't Errol Spence because they didn't want to fight. It's this person right here. We cool with it. It can be some upset people, but we know who's stalling the fight. We know PBC is having problems. We know Errol Spence is having problems with you know, getting the fight done. He's the one that signed with the PBC. So we'll see how that plays out. Shout out to Team Tucker, man. You know, shout out to the ones that's out here getting it in. You know, Showtime Shaw News, man. Shout out to you. Continue to do your thing. Shout out to the content creators that's out here refusing to put out fake news. You know what I'm saying? And for Ryan Garcia, I really hope that somebody send a life coach or 2 or 3 out to him and help him out, man, because that baby needs some milk. He needs some warm Similac. Okay, throw a little whipped cream on top because he's entitled. All right, put some little chocolate sprinkles on it. Yeah, he's entitled, man. That dude was about to shed some tears. So if y'all can do me a favor, just call up some life coaches, go over there if they have time, and really talk to this guy, because it just seems like he was about to start balling. That Tank maybe snatched him up and lifted him off his feet. They're like, God damn, that nigga, he ain't taller than me, but my feet are off the ground. This nigga strong. God damn. Man, put me down. Real talk, man. Stop, man. Stop playing. You play too much, man. Put me down. Damn, dog. You know how much I spent on this ice right here, man? Chill. It's respect, right? No. So you trying to tell me there's no respect? None. It ain't no respect between us. He said there was no respect, man. And I'm like, like I'm just stumped. Anyway, man, y'all hold this shit down. Appreciate you. Turn up a tune in the World Combat Sports. I'm out.